Good evening and welcome to the 6 o'clock news on this Memorial Day. Around the Pacific Northwest, events were held today to honor those who lost their lives serving our country.
Fox 12's Connor McCarthy was at a Memorial Day event in Vancouver and tells us what today means for one 95-year-old World War II veteran.
Well, it was a solemn morning here at Fort Vancouver. Dozens of veterans, their families, and community members gathered here to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving their country. For one 95-year-old veteran, Memorial Day is more than just honoring those who serve, but also remembering his own service. Looking on as the 204th Army Band played military medleys, 95-year-old Julian Hiltz remembered his time serving in World War II, and those memories can be painful.
I've seen things that I shouldn't have seen, so it's hard for me to talk about the past.
Julian says Memorial Day is an emotional one for him, especially after receiving the Congressional Gold Medal.
I just didn't know really what to say. I was very humbled about that.
He's thankful he was able to serve his country and is grateful to see so many people in the Vancouver community come out to honor veterans that are still here and the ones that lost their lives while defending our nation.
We should honor the people that are not here. And people should, in a great country like we have here, make sure they remember and pass that on to their children.
On this Memorial Day, the Vancouver community did remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Posters of Clark County veterans who were killed in action provided a backdrop for the Vancouver mayor and Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez to stress the importance of supporting those who served our country. I spoke to Charles Spuck, who brought his father's shadow box to the ceremony with military memorabilia inside. His father served in World War II and the Korean War. Charles says today is about honoring him.
Freedom is not free, and even though this country has a pretty interesting history, it's a day of memory and respect.
A wreath was placed under a large American flag after a gun salute, honoring all those who pledged to protect our country. Even though the memories are hard to think about, Julian says he has no regrets enlisting at 16 years old.
For this country, it's a great country, and I'd do it all over again.
Well, Julian says that he still tries to serve his country by mentoring young people, for example. He says everyone has a part to play in their community, and he hopes to see more people give back. In Vancouver, Connor McCarthy, Fox 12 Oregon.